No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a very special stream tonight. We will be discussing the 2022 NoDQ.com year-end awards, 23 straight years of the awards on the website. This year, a lot to talk about, lots of big stories. We are going to discuss the top 5 categories of the year-end awards. There are 20 categories in total, and at the end, everybody will give their picks or discuss whatever they want from those categories, but we will go into detail over the 5 main categories, which I consider to be Male Superstar of the Year, Female Superstar of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, Match of the Year, which I'm sure will be heavily debated, and pay-per-view or premium live event of the year. Now, everybody can do their little introduction once we go over to them for their turn to talk. We're going to get right into this and start with the first topic, the first category, which is Male Superstar of the Year. The poll is already on NoDQ.com. You can vote now. You have through December to cast your vote. So make sure you do that. And chat room, leave your thoughts about the Male Superstar of the Year, your pick, why you picked that person, honorable mention, who you thought was left out of the poll. Put in your comments in the chat room if you're watching live, and leave your comment on YouTube if you're watching on demand. We'll look at it. Maybe we'll respond to it. Go ahead and do that. Now, we got 6 people in contention for the Male Superstar of the Year. Those names: Roman Reigns, the unified WWE Universal Champion; Jon Moxley, who is currently the AEW World Champion; Sami Zayn; Seth freaking Rollins; CM Punk; and MJF. Now,
MJF's the champ.
Well, thank you. Should have cut me off sooner. Whoops. My apologies, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. If he watches this, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. Anyways, Virtue, since you usually host the No DQ review and you're sitting back, I'll let you go first on this one. You are a big supporter of Roman Reigns, but as we speak, at this moment, Sami Zayn is somehow in the lead. I, for one, am shocked that Sami Zayn is in the lead. I thought Roman Reigns would be running away with the poll. Now, it's still early. Things could change. But, Virtue, what are your thoughts on the poll? And, in your opinion, who should be the Male Superstar / Wrestler of the Year?
So it's interesting. I feel like Sami Zayn is doing so well because of Roman Reigns. Because if I remember correctly, Sami Zayn was getting laughed at for having a match with Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania, in which I thought, and some of my casual friends who aren't really wrestling fans, laughed their asses off. And now look where Sami Zayn is, right? Beating Roman Reigns right now for this award. But he's not even my honorable mention. He's having a great run, right? I put him in 3rd place right now. My honorable mention, Seth Rollins. He pops me every week with the costumes. It's like he's sharing a wardrobe with Becky. I mean, I know he's not in the world title picture, but Seth Rollins is my honorable mention. And guess what? We're going to keep the Shield theme because the Male Superstar of the Year, PWI, they've been doing it right for years, and they put Roman Reigns at number 1 because it's kayfabe. And right now, I'm going to pick Roman Reigns. I'm going to acknowledge him. How can you pick against him? Sami Zayn's an internet darling back from the Ring of Honor days, so I get it. This is actually going to be fun, Aaron, watching this voting. I kind of hope it starts going back and forth at some point. I'm actually excited. And you know what? It doesn't matter. They're both in the biggest storyline in wrestling right now, and they're the top of the food chain in your poll.
You could be right, man. I've seen it happen in previous years where it goes back and forth, and sometimes the Roman Reigns fans come in and start voting, or somebody else has their fan base coming in. They discover the poll. They start voting. Make sure you guys spread the word. If you want Sami Zayn to win, tell other Sami Zayn fans to vote. If you want Seth Rollins to win, go on a Seth Rollins Facebook page and let them know the poll is available for people to vote on. Get as many votes in as possible so we can have the most accurate result possible with the largest sample of fans. Keep spreading the word. And we do have a few super chats. First of all, Walter Cruz, who's always feeling merchy, sent in a $5 super chat, except for tonight. He's got a non-no DQ shirt. He says, welcome, NIDQ Galaxy, to a special video on this wonderful Thursday. Like, share this video, say yes to no DQ, hashtag stick to my shtick, hashtag never can spell correctly. That is the one and only Walter Cruz. So, Walter, since you super chatted first, we'll go ahead and throw it over to you now. Do you agree with Virtue's take on Superstar of the Year?
Yeah, if it's not Roman or Sami, it's like, who else could it be? I feel like an honorable mention, but due to injury, he's not listed in there. I think Cody Rhodes would have been had.
I guess he was using profanity or something. He got censored.
Right?
Wow.
Stevie Richards come into this?
Foul language.
Like, is Bray Wyatt starting to mess with you? I mean, he hasn't really been back to.
Yeah, you didn't pick Bray Wyatt, so there you go. Bray Wyatt has a problem with you, Gunther of no DQ, or maybe Gunther came in and hacked your mic.
Hey, at least that didn't happen when you were on a video with Vito.
Right?
Oh my God, he would have got it.
Oh, Vito would have chewed him out. Walter would have never heard the end of it. We'll throw it back to Walter in a minute. We'll give him a minute to figure it out. We're live, everybody. We're live, pal. JJ Williams, the renegade of the internet wrestling community. Let's hear your thoughts on this.
You know, I agree with Virtue to an extent because Roman Reigns had an amazing year. Over on the AEW side, I'd say it's definitely between Mox and MJF. But if it hadn't been for this rivalry with Sami Zayn and Jey Uso and the whole Usi promo that he cut a few weeks back, the fact that that's been turned into merchandise now and it's gotten over so huge with the fans, I definitely can see Sami Zayn taking away this award here this year.
Now, hold on a minute. Walter was muted and I still heard a noise. Maybe it's not Walter. Maybe we blamed the wrong person on the malfunction. But anyways, let's throw it over to the simple man, Noah Foster, who's taking notes over there. Noah, go ahead and give us your thoughts on the male superstar of the year.
When it comes to the male superstar of the year, what is your statistics? Do you look at the bigger than life personality? Do you look at that weekly consistent showing on television? Do you look at that memorable impact? Do you look at the person you didn't think was going to be in this spot, but somehow they have become a part of it? There is no doubt that Roman Reigns is on top of the industry when it comes to name power, marketing, in-ring capabilities, and storytelling. But this year, who would have thought the supporting role would become maybe the top star in the compelling stories that go in 2023? I got to go with Sami Zayn. Not only did Sami Zayn surpass all expectations of everybody in and out of the bloodline, with already the fans that support him, he already has shown how much personality he could bring when he's not scripted. With one simple word, he built merchandise out of it and made people break character. And now the suspension of disbelief that Sami Zayn could challenge for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship, or maybe be part still in dethroning the Usos down the line at WrestleMania with a certain old friend. There's still so much storytelling left in Sami Zayn, and I love that. I keep saying it. The two things that interest me the most in this industry are Sami Zayn and MJF. That's why MJF is my honorable mention, but shout out to Jon Moxley and Roman Reigns, top guys respectively in their company. But for me, I got to give it to Sami Zayn. He's definitely made me feel oozy, to say the least.
Man, Sami Zayn has had a phenomenal 2022, that's for sure. Now, before we go on here, Caleb Jacobs sent in $2, says, MJF is the devil, Aaron. Be careful. Yeah, I already screwed up earlier. Maybe MJF using a little bit of that devilish power that he has to kick Walter Cruz out of the room. Maybe Walter Cruz just had to take a break before Big Vito logged on and chewed him out.
Or, fix his headset, drop out, drop back in. That's how you fix it. As someone that works in IT, it's what I recommend in most video conferences.
Mr. Tito sent in a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Tito. Says, yesterday's gone. With Fleetwood Mac's Christine McVie passing, it's a subtle reminder to go see your favorite wrestlers perform or meet them personally. Your favorites could be gone tomorrow.
Respect.
Absolutely.
Well said,
That's good.
Tito.
Good old JR says tomorrow is never guaranteed.
By the way, Tito had a bit of a rough weekend. He posted an article about women's makeup and wrestling, and yeah, Twitter did not like it. He had to delete his article because he got so much heat. Virtue, you've never gotten that much heat like Tito, man. That could be the biggest heel of the year if columnists were up for the award.
Just the fact that it was about makeup, excessive makeup, like that. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that opinion.
Well, we'll leave it at that, and I will give my thoughts now. Sami Zayn has done really well in 2022. He arguably gave the bloodline a new lease on life and made the storyline interesting again. It felt like perhaps the bloodline was starting to get a little stagnant, but Sami Zayn came in and they're getting great reactions. They got new catchphrases. It's been such a fun storyline, and I feel like we're just getting started with it. However, I do have to look at it a little bit from the PWI terms. And when you look at it from a kayfabe perspective, Roman Reigns has been the dominant double champion, and it's a historic championship run. Roman Reigns has had one of the best title reigns in the history of the business, and it might not be over for a long time. It could go well into 2023. He's dominated the entire year. He's the head of the table, the tribal chief. I have to give it to Roman Reigns, but the fact that Sami Zayn could be in the lead, not even just second, but in the lead, really tells you how much of an impact Sami Zayn has made in 2022. And it's definitely been a great year for him. Yes, JJ.
I think Paul Heyman said it best at the Survivor Series press conference. Sami Zayn was the guy that was supposed to be the guest spot on the TV show, and he turned into one of the lead roles, a more recurring actor within the series, because he's just got all those factors that you look for in an entertaining performer.
Well said, JJ Williams. And
we got Darth Vader in here. Who's got the mic real close to their mouth? Is that you, Walter?
Is it?
I heard Darth Vader for a second. Maybe it was.
I don't know.
Darth Vader.
I thought Vito might have been busting my balls again and playing hacker on me.
All right, Big G. You're always happy to be on the No DQ channel. Let's get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so everybody's had a tremendous year as the male superstars that we have listed here. Sami Zayn, what can you say about Sami Zayn? Aaron, you said it best. He injected new life into the bloodline. He was having an issue with Johnny Knoxville before the whole bloodline thing got started, and he tried to get recruited into the bloodline, and he did everything possible to get into the bloodline, and he did that. Roman Reigns, I went on the no DQ poll and I voted Roman Reigns as male superstar of the year. He's been champion for over 2 years now. He might not be on TV every single week, but that's how he should be as a champion. He is the superstar. He is the prize fighter. No pun intended to KO there, but he is the main attraction. He's going to be on the big shows. So, we didn't see him on the, B-plus shows here and there, but we saw him at Clash of the Castle against Drew, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar, Royal Rumble, Seth Rollins. So I'm gonna have to go. I'm sticking with my guts with Roman Reigns. And my, if I had to go in order, it'd be Roman, Sami, and Seth Rollins. Seth had a good year too.
Yeah, he did.
So-
And even though he was not the world champion, he was a focal point and he had some of the best matches
we'll
of the
get
year.
to the match of the year, but like his 3 matches with Cody were very great. But anyways,
The Tito
And
me and Brock Lesnar there. He said Roman finally had a great match with Roman.
Well, maybe he thought it was like Undertaker versus Undertaker, and Roman had a match with himself. Maybe he's so out of commission with watching wrestling that he thought Roman Reigns had a match against himself. Well, Big G, his laundry's done, so he's heading over there for a minute. We're going to move on to the next category, which is the female superstar of the year. I will go ahead and start off with my pick for this. Now, the people we have in contention for this award, we have Bianca Belair, who's the Raw Women's Champion. Hopefully I get the champions right this time. Rhea Ripley, part of Judgment Day. Jamie Hayter, who is, Noah, I think I'm right on this. She is the AEW Women's Champion, right?
You're damn right she is, yes.
Yes. Becky Lynch, Toni Storm, the former champion, and the current NXT Women's Champion, Mandy Rose, who's had a dominant year, but she's not my pick. My pick is Bianca Belair. She has been champion for most of the year. She had her big match at WrestleMania. Becky Lynch, those matches back and forth. She's taken on all challengers. She went up against Bayley. They had the match at War Games. Bianca's just had a great year. It's been her year. So Bianca Belair is my pick for the female superstar of the year. Second place, though, this might surprise people, and I hope Rhea Ripley gets it next year, but I might actually go with Mandy Rose because of how dominant she's been. If you look at it from a kayfabe perspective, she's been totally dominant as champion over in NXT, but it's not the big pond. That's the thing. Maybe if she comes back to the main roster, she has a big run, then she could potentially be a candidate at some point. So Big G, we'll throw it over to you now and get your thoughts on and sorry, no Shayna Baszler in the poll. I'm sure you're not happy about that. No Ronda Rousey either, which surprises me a little bit. So what do you think about
I'm shocked at myself that I didn't put in Britt Baker. I'm shocked at myself because I did put in Bianca Belair. Britt had a great beginning 2022, and then she lost her title to Toni Storm, and then she really hasn't. I mean, she won the Women's Owen Hart tournament, but she really hasn't done anything since then. She's pretty much been on the back burner with Jamie Hayter right now, taking focus into that little group with her and Rebel. But Bianca, hell of a year. She won the Raw Women's title back at WrestleMania. She's been dominant ever since. She legit is the EST of WWE right now. If I had to choose a second place, it'd probably be Becky Lynch right behind her. So I'm gonna stick with my gut and go Bianca Belair.
All right, Bianca Belair, that's 2 for her. Simple Man Noah Foster, always dressed for the occasion. What are your thoughts?
Respect women's wrestling, damn it. But first off, not my NXT! She lost credibility when she ripped apart a pillow. What the hell type of champion you are when you throw a tantrum when you rip apart a damn pillow during a wrestling match? Give me a break. That being said, I gotta give it to the EST of WWE. She has been the dominant face of the entire WWE women's roster in that company. She once again headlined WrestleMania and won the gold. She won the Elimination Chamber. That program with her and Becky that went through SummerSlam was tremendous stuff. She has now overcome Bayley twice, including at Saudi Arabia. And right now, it seems like she is unstoppable. She is on her way to maybe beat the 4 horsewomen of the Black and Gold NXT. Only one remains. Teaser's yet to come if she returns. I will give credit where credit's due, though. Rhea Ripley, she's definitely done a lot when it comes to her character development. Really has become a focal point in the Judgment Day. And this whole thing with her and Dominic Odele for different reasons. And I definitely could see her maybe challenging Bianca Belair next, maybe at the Royal Rumble. As far as Jamie Hayter, I'm a hater. Tremendous growth over the last year. Finally glad to see her as champion. But again, I look at also the quantity. She has not been able, or Tony Khan, you daggum idiot, has not been booked properly to show me enough in the ring. Now she's champion. There's obviously going to be a promo of her and Britt Baker. That leaves me a lot of suspension of disbelief. And as far as Toni Storm, she had a great run, but she hasn't been there the entire year. I look at consistency since January. Bianca Belair is indeed the EST of the WWE, and I feel rightly deserves to be Female Superstar of the Year.
Thank you for that, Noah Foster. And Darren G sent in a $9.99 super chat. Thank you for that, Darren G. Says, how is Roman Reigns not winning? Acknowledge him. Shout out to the whole panel. Now that I know how I support the channel with super chats, next step is getting some kind of merch. Anyways, carry on. Yes.
Wayward son.
Get merchy, Darren G. And
Yeah,
speaking
feel
of
merchy.
feeling merchy, and speaking of feeling merchy, we'll throw it over now to Walter, aka Gunther of No DQ.
All right. Is Beto done busting my balls with the technology and muting me, cut me out?
We'll see. We'll see what comes out of your mouth here in the next few minutes.
So for me, it's Bianca Belair. She's had a hell of a year, and like Noah said, she's on the way to, if Charlotte returns, beating all four other four horsewomen. But I think someone who deserves to be mentioned that nobody's mentioning is Jade Cargill. She's got like a Goldberg-esque women's version of an undefeated streak going on in AEW, and everybody's just looking right over her. So I think Jade deserves to be on that list. I personally put it on the poll, but I guess not enough people did. So I think Bianca runs away with it, but honorable mention is definitely Jade.
Well, I know Tito in particular probably thought Jade looked really good on Dynamite. Her matches not so much, but she's definitely got a presence, and maybe 2023 will be her year. So Virtue, I put the shot on you because your cat was in the background. Had to do it. What are your thoughts?
This is like a by default thing. Like, I'm going to put Becky as the honorable mention, like, because that's where I had Seth, for the male superstar. So they're all, they're always on the cusp of being up there. I'm just going to say Bianca Belair because of how she's booked, the matches she's had, and based on the competition, it's her by a landslide. And Becky right there, I guess, for the only second place. There ain't really much to say. I mean, Sasha left. We couldn't have her name in the mix. Charlotte really wasn't around this year. It's been a weird year for women's wrestling. So really how does anyone come close to Bianca? I can't even think of some. Becky just because she's Becky.
Right. No, I'm with you on that. JJ, we'll go with you now. And nobody's talked about Ronda Rousey not being on the list. Does that bother you at all? You're like, whatever, man.
I don't mind Ronda not being on the list, and I know that'll make my girl, kind of sad to hear me say that, but it's like she's gone heel lately, and a lot of times, notoriously, the fans don't really go for the heels, especially ones that vote in this type of stuff. I mean, that may be part of why Sami is like super high up. I mean, I know he's with the heel bloodline, but he's always kind of been that goofy character. But as far as this one goes, like I echo the sentiment of the entire panel. Out of the names that are listed here, it has to be Bianca Belair. She has been the dominant female, honestly, for going on 2 years now, ever since she won the Rumble last year in 2021. Yeah. With the exception of those few months where she wasn't champion after Becky came back and dethroned her, she has been the face of the WWE women's division. I also look at Mandy Rose. She's definitely been dominant in NXT, not Noah's NXT, damn it. 18 days away from passing Shayna Baszler, which I know will break Big G's heart if that happens. But then all she's got to do is catch Asuka. But much like Walter here, I'm surprised that Jade isn't on this list. And I know one of you guys mentioned her in-ring performances and her matches still being, a little bit green, not the greatest technical wrestler. The category is not female wrestler of the year, it's female superstar of the year. And I defy anybody to tell me that she doesn't go out there and look like a superstar.
Now, JJ, I want to throw this at you. Caleb Jacobs sent in $2, and he said, what about Liv? She worked very hard this year. Nobody mentioned Liv Morgan not being on the list. Is she a contender?
She definitely worked hard this year, and she got her Cinderella story, but it only lasted a couple of months.
Yeah.
Had she been a more dominant presence throughout the year, she could definitely be in contention. But earlier this year, she was in that mixed match with Ray and Edge going against Judgment Day, and she was just like, there is an afterthought. because she had been thrown previously into a makeshift team with Rhea, and Rhea turned on her.
Yeah.
Because we all know WWE doesn't know how to do women's tag teams, except for Toxic Attraction, but that's a whole other story. So if she had had a little bit more of a dominant year, then absolutely her name could be thrown in here into the pot of chili to kind of mix around and let simmer and brew. But for a 3-month run as the top of the division, no, sorry, next.
And Bailey to me is the disappointment of the year. Like, I was so excited for her return, and then they just squandered it.
Yeah.
Well, she's only been back since SummerSlam. I mean, hasn't been here to.
Yeah, but I thought this Damage Control was going to be so big, and then they like keep booking her to lose, and it's like they screwed it up for me.
Yeah,
I definitely see what you're saying, Walter. I mean, at what point do Io and Dakota sit there and be like, we're multi-time tag champs now, what the hell have you done?
Yeah.
Why should we be following you? You can't even beat Bianca.
Yeah, it's a shame. We'll go ahead and move on now to the next topic, which is the tag team of the year. And chat room, leave your thoughts, your well thought out comments, and I will put them up on the screen. Give us your analysis. Which team should win the award and why? Why do they deserve it? Leave your comments in the chat room, and we'll go ahead now and go over the nominees for tag team of the year. We have the Usos, FTR, the Acclaimed, the Young Bucks, RK Bro, and Alpha Academy. All right, so Noah Foster, I'm going to throw it over to you first. Usos have been dominant as champs. FTR, they've had some of the best matches of the year. The Acclaimed, they're one of the most over teams of the year. The Young Bucks, they've been doing their thing throughout the year. RK Bro had momentum, although Randy Orton got hurt. And Alpha Academy never pushed to the top, but they've always been consistent. They've always put on some good matches and brought some entertainment value. So of those teams, in your opinion, Noah, which team should get the award this year?
For me, it's pretty simple. If you know what I'm all about when it comes to tag team wrestling, damn it, that goes in conjunction almost with pay-per-view of the year and maybe match of the year for me. I got to give it to the top guys, FTR. Not only are they the current Ring of Honor, IWGP, and AAA tag team champions, they've done it all everywhere, both in singles and tag competition. Their most recent match with Aussie Open is definitely a sleeper match of the year candidate for me as well, and I hope it does get revisited at Wrestle Kingdom. While the Usos are the longest reigning modern era tag team champions of all time against the New Day, they faced the New Day once, the Street Profits twice. They faced Boogs Nakamura at WrestleMania. Boogs got injured, so that match was inaudible. And honestly, can't really think of anything else they've really done where they were more relevant than the entire bloodline together, or with Roman Reigns, like at WrestleMania Backlash. Good for them on holding on the blueberry and strawberry straps, but I look at tag team wrestling, I look at the match quality, I look at variety, I look at storytelling, I look at the crowd literally buying into tag team wrestling with actual chance. And between what they've done with the Briscoes, Aussie Open, Young Bucks, insert tag team here, insert singles competitor for Dax Harwood, it's FTR for me. Kudos to the Acclaim becoming an over-organic act right now, and AEW has the chance, but that happened in the later half of this year at AEW All Out. Alpha Academy, yeah, they're consistent workers. They even, I believe, came into WrestleMania as a tag champs, not challenge for them, but now they've kind of fallen to the wayside. They're just part of the scene. The Young Bucks are the Young Bucks, so you can say whatever you want about them. Multiple tag, multiple trios, they're EVPs. I don't count them because of their managerial roles and, of course, the controversy that still surrounds them when it came to the events that happened between All Out and Full Gear. For me, they are the top guys for a reason, not by name value, and I'm just waiting for them to become 8-star. My tag team of the year is FTR.
FTR for the win, according to Ty Marshall. Virtue, I'm thinking you're not picking FTR, so we'll have you go next.
The Acclaim's honorable mention. They deserved it. So for everybody that says I'm anti-AEW, I put Acclaim right up there at the cusp. But how do you not choose the Usos? Not only do they have all the tag team titles in WWE, they're part of the biggest, hottest storyline in wrestling, making Sami Zayn currently beat Roman Reigns for Male Superstar of the Year right here on No DQ. How can it not be the Usos? Their matches are always solid. They have personality when they do their non-wrestling stuff, and they got all the gold in WWE. Usos, baby.
All right, and I tend to agree with you, Virtue, on this one. I would like to pick FTR, but I feel like their momentum got cooled off a little bit. Like they should have gone for the AEW tag team titles at a major event. We should have seen the Young Bucks and FTR in that third match of the trilogy on a pay-per-view. Missed opportunity, in my opinion. And they do have a bunch of other titles, which is definitely a heck of an accomplishment. But at the end of the day, the Usos have been dominant as champions of the biggest brand, and they've been part of arguably the most entertaining storyline of the year. So I do have to give it to the Usos, but FTR would definitely be my runner-up tag team. Now we'll throw it over to Big Baller G with his thoughts on the tag team divisions in WWE, AEW, and beyond.
All great tag teams on the list. FTR, same for me, Aaron. They really, I haven't watched Triple A and all that other stuff, so I really can't tell how they were doing over there with the Ring of Honor and New Japan and all that. I just focus on the AEW stuff, and Dax Harwood had an awesome match last night with Bryan Danielson, and I've seen their tag matches on AEW, Dynamite and Rampage when I catch Rampage, and they're tremendous. But I'm gonna go with the Usos as well. Usos have been dominant now for over 480 some days. They beat the New Day's record. They had an awesome match with RK Bro for the undisputed tag titles on SmackDown a while back. And, what else can I say about the Usos? They're feeling Usi right now. We might be, I don't know if it's true or not, but they might be getting some new gold, different straps here coming soon. But as far as my honorable mention, I'm going to go with RK Bro. They had a tremendous year too, up until Randy got hurt.
Yeah, they had a great run until
the storytelling was awesome. Randy and Matt Riddle had that great chemistry. They had great matches, and like I said, until Randy got hurt, their momentum got stalled.
All right, we'll throw it over now to the Renegade, JJ Williams.
I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I echo Noah's sentiment of FTR for pretty much every reason that he said. If you want to look at honorable mentions, I know they're not on the list here, but I would bring up the Creed brothers and Pretty Deadly into the conversation from NXT, not Noah's NXT. I definitely think there's something worth watching out for in the coming year. Both teams have been pretty dominant throughout the last 12 months.
All right, well, now we'll throw it over to Gunther Walter with his thoughts. And I think because he came up with the Feeling Merchy slogan for us that I have an idea who his pick is going to be. But let's hear it from the man himself.
Yeah, it definitely is. I say Acclaim is the runner-up. But like Noah said, that's just more recent. It's like since All Out, they became popular. But to get that Scissor Me Daddy over and the kind of matches they had, and everybody was rooting for them, they're definitely the runner-up. But if Roman's the superstar of the year, how can you not go with the Usos to be the tag team of the year? I mean, they're involved in the best storyline going in wrestling right now. They beat the New Day's record. Everything screams Uso at you, and the entire bloodline is just everything of the year. So they got Sammy's the one who got Feeling Usi over, but it cracked the Usos up, and everything's all Usos. Everything's screaming all Usos for me.
All right. Thank you for that, Walter. Now we'll move on to an interesting category. I think we'll have a lot of different opinions on this one. Maybe not. We have the match of the year. Now, there have been a lot of great matches in 2022. I mean, there's no shortage.
No.
There's been a lot of matches ranked 5 stars, 10 out of 10, A+, whatever rankings method you use. There are people that give perfect scores to probably dozens of matches this year. There have been so many great ones, but only 6 could make the poll. Now let's go ahead and take a look at those 6 matches that made the final poll. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people saying, well, why isn't this match on? Remember, it's all nominations based. These were the 6 that got the most nominations. So match of the year, going to do this in chronological order if I can. From Revolution, we have CM Punk versus MJF in the dog collar match. And then from the Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, FTR versus the Briscoes, which I'll go ahead now and say best tag match of the year. Awesome stuff from those guys. Anarchy in the Arena from Double or Nothing, which was crazy. Wild brawl. Bryan Danielson got hurt in that match, but it was quite the spectacle. So as far as brawls go, like you can't really get crazier than that match. And then we had the Hell in a Cell match. Cody Rhodes versus Seth freaking Rollins. Of course, Cody Rhodes going into that match, torn pec, absolutely brutal. And Dave Meltzer gave it 5 stars, which he rarely does for main roster WWE matches. So that really tells you something right there. Although lots of AEW matches get like 6 and 7 stars. You know the drill. And Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar from SummerSlam, which was crazy with the ring being lifted up with that forklift. So many wild moments in that match. And then Gunther versus Sheamus, one of the most hard-hitting matches of the year from Clash at the Castle, and what an atmosphere from the crowd. Just such a fun match. Lots of great choices here. Now we go over back to Gunther. Since Gunther's name was mentioned, we'll go over to Walter and get his thoughts on these contenders for match of the year.
This is going to be fun.
I might be alone in saying this, but I actually think Cody and Seth's WrestleMania match, I put that above the Hell in a Cell just because it was his return and just because of everything leading up to it. So because of that, I'm picking Sheamus and Gunther. And it's not just because that's my name is Walter and it's good, but that was just big men slapping meat, everything Big E always says. That was hard hitting. It was brutal. The atmosphere, it was in England for the first time in years. And these two both were from Europe. You didn't know who the heel was, face was. Even though Sheamus should be the face and Gunther should be the heel, the crowd was kind of split 50-50. People were cheering both ways. It was hard hitting. You haven't seen a brutal match like that since the PG era began. So I'm saying Gunther and Sheamus.
All right. Thank you for that, Walter Cruz. Now we'll throw it over to Big Baller G with his thoughts on the match of the year contenders. No Shayna Baszler match. Sorry.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. All great matches. But I'm gonna have to go with Gunther. I'm gonna say his name correctly with Gunther, but Gunther with this, and their match was awesome. It was off the charts. I actually went back earlier today and rewatched it just to hear that reaction. This is what made Sheamus like red hot. Getting back to like his glory days, if you want to say. And hell of a match. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Gunther versus Sheamus at Clash at the Castle.
All right. So now we'll go over to Virtue, and I wonder if he's going to pick Roman Reigns' match. We'll see what he has to say now.
So what made it hard for Rollins and Cody Rhodes is they had both of those matches. And I understand like the No DQ Galaxy, they're picking the Hell in the Cell because of the injury and Cody gutted it out. Hell of a match. I love the WrestleMania match, kind of like Walter said. And it made it hard for me to pick one of those as the top. Like those are if you could have a 1B to match of the year, either one of those matches to me would be that. But when I think of the best matches I like, it's not because of work rate. It's not because of what wrestling fans today want. It's spectacle. And how many times has Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns failed to deliver a good match? Now, let's go back to WrestleMania 31. They were having a pretty good match, but Rollins cashed in. So we couldn't really see how that was going to end with the two. They had stinkers all the way up to SummerSlam, and they finally delivered by putting the little Stone Cold type thing with a vehicle into the match that Brock Lesnar did, and the whole drama, Roman falling out of the ring. And look, I know it wasn't like your typical 5-star match in terms of what fans like, but that's what I like, and that was match of the year. Why not? They finally delivered, and I think Mr. Tito even agreed with me.
Yeah, I mean, fair argument there. They had some stinkers, and that match definitely lived up to what you would want to see from those guys for sure. All right. Noah Foster. This is what I love about this because we get different opinions, and I think Noah might have a different pick for this one. So let's throw it over to Noah now with his thoughts.
Well, considering I literally watch AEW, WWE, Stardom, New Japan Pro Wrestling, NWA, Impact Wrestling, and Independent Wrestling, I love this category because that's professional wrestling, damn it. And JJ, I'll just get this out of the way right now. Not my NXT, but I will say this. Your NXT gave me one match worthwhile this year. Triple threat, Ilya Dragunov, JD McDonough, and friggin' Bronfman Breaker, Halloween Havoc. That's the only grace I will give your freaking Skittles hybrid white and gold brand. Don't get used to it. Now, back to this category. As far as this goes, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, they had a trilogy of great matches. I think about match of the year, I think about the one that stands out. I don't think about those that repeat. I don't think about those that have, some sort of revival necessarily. Why FTR and the Briscoes is definitely tag team of the year. I still think match of the year, you look at singles surpassing tag team wrestling because tag team wrestling has yet to main event the biggest shows of them all, WrestleMania and Wrestle Kingdom. So I got to automatically eliminate FTR versus the Briscoes, both at Supercard of Honor and Death Before Dishonor. Anarchy of the Arena, that's sports entertainment. That was wild, fun, crazy spectacle, engagement, interaction. I'm sure that was every fan's dream during that because they could just find some spot to post on TikTok, Twitter, or find themselves on camera with somebody beating somebody up. As far as Cody and Seth Rollins, their best match for me was definitely the WrestleMania one. But as far as my match of the year, it's only been done one time. And the fact before it, you just had the two men standing in the ring while brawling ensued around them. It's got to be Walter versus Sheamus for me. Not only because of the territory, but because of the crowd's interaction. But that was truly big men meet, slappy meet, physical warfare to see who had the stronger will and could survive. I look at matches that add up to that, like Eddie Kingston versus Tomoyoshi Ii, Minoru Suzuki versus Brody King. I love that sort of affair, and it's only happened once. So for me, it's Gunther versus Sheamus as match of the year.
I mean, that's a great choice, Noah, and I'm really torn between three of these matches, actually. The one you just mentioned, Gunther and Sheamus, which was just almost a perfect match, pretty much a perfect match with an awesome crowd, memorable venue, Clash at the Castle, first United Kingdom pay-per-view since SummerSlam 92 in the stadium. And then you had Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, which was a hell of a match to close out one of the biggest shows of the year. And then Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, which I thought was maybe the gutsiest performance I've seen on a wrestling show in many years. I will remember that perhaps for the rest of my life. Cody Rhodes coming out there with the pectoral injury. And to me, because that's so memorable and because I think it's going to lead to bigger things. One thing when I pick the match of the year, I'm thinking about long-term impact. Steve Austin, Bret Hart, one of my all-time favorites from WrestleMania 13, the impact that match made long-term. That was really critical. For this year, I feel like long-term, Cody Rhodes going out there with the torn pack and pulling through with that match, that is something that will perhaps award him something big time in the future. He's going to be rewarded for that. And I think his best years are to come. And I think that match definitely elevated him even higher than he was before. No doubt Clash at the Castle is right up there because I think it elevated both guys greatly. Gave Sheamus a whole new lease on life. Really got him over as a babyface. They had to turn the whole act because of him. So that's up there. But I think I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell. JJ Williams, what are your thoughts? We'll wrap it up with you, and then we'll get to the next category.
First of all, I want to praise Noah because I know how hard it was for him to acknowledge the not his NXT delivering a banner of a match. So thank you, Noah.
Dude, JJ, how does nobody not pick Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville? And just look at Aaron was talking about launching pad matches. Just kidding.
But I echo your sentiments, boss man. To kind of counterpoint Noah, he talks about how he thinks about the one-offs and not the matches that had repeat matches and continuing the story and everything. I'm a movie guy, so I look at things from the bigger picture. And Act 3, Hell in a Cell for Cody and Seth, there's so much storytelling and psychology that went into that, even completely putting away the pectoral tear, which, as you said, Rift, is something that you just can't overlook. I mean, the minute he took his coat off and you could see the damage already done, that just ingrains a mental image in your skull
Yeah.
that you just cannot get rid of. It's just like watching McFoley go off the cell, or the 13 chair shots that The Rock gave to him. You just have that image of that pec tear now etched into your brain. But between Seth coming out with the dusty polka dots on his tights, and then the pec tear, and then the fact that they went damn near 30 minutes in a highly competitive, great wrestling match, I gotta give it to the Hell in a Cell.
All
I still have Triple H's pectoral in my brain, and that was like 10 times less than, like, Cody's whole arm was from here to here was all purple. Triple H was just like right here, and Triple H's is engraved. So imagine Cody's, like that just crazy. You had people accusing that it was makeup at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those iconic visuals that I think people will remember for many years to come.
It kind of
So,
like
yeah.
Vince McMahon power walking down to the Rumble and tearing both quads.
That's definitely a memorable moment
That-
for
that
sure.
would-
That's
That would live in
different type of
infamy.
Memorable.
That would live in infamy.
Yeah, among others.
All right, guys, we got one more category, and then we'll have everybody read off the remaining categories with their predictions. So we got pay-per-view of the year. And by the way, my condolences to John. Sorry for your loss. And we got pay-per-view of the year, AEW Revolution. Now, I'm not sure if everybody here in this panel has seen every pay-per-view this year. I have, so I will give my thoughts, and you can try to give your best answer. You can even skip it if you want, if you haven't seen every pay-per-view and don't want to commit to an answer. But we got AEW Revolution, WrestleMania 38, AEW / New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door, SummerSlam, All Out, and Clash at the Castle. We were just talking about Clash at the Castle a few moments ago. So, Noah, we'll start with you on this one. Since you have seen every pay-per-view, which one was the best one? Which one do you think was the most bang for your buck?
Out of these, actually, for the third year in a row is AEW Full Gear. But since that's not part of the poll, let's go ahead and break down this one, shall we? AEW Revolution, the only thing for me, Thunder Rosa should have won the title at the time against the Underbreaker DMD. I thought the steel cage thing was a bit unnecessary. And a lot of people forget about Adam Page versus Adam Cole. Baby, also Adam Cole, get well soon. Not mine. WrestleMania 38, I look at the fact that again it's 2 nights. I miss the times where WrestleMania was only one night, the spectacle of the immortals, all under one great card. Too much filler, a lot of bunch of nonsense matches for me, so that's out of the way too. SummerSlam was all right. I mean, it was the first one that was hybrid Vince McMahon and Triple H. There's a couple of matches I didn't need. I didn't need Jeff Jarrett on my screen either. Kind of underwhelmed the tag team title match for me, so that's out. AEW All Out, I liked the card that they had, but again, all this interim nonsense, not putting the TNT title on the line kind of underwhelmed it for me too. And seeing how before controversy abound and political nonsense afterwards ensued, I'm just looking at the show, and to me, it just didn't feel like, the most memorable thing for me this year. Clash of the Castle, the 6-woman tag was nice. Liv Morgan, Shayna Baszler kind of was dull. So it kind of was a bit playing there for me. The Dominic turn was a moment, but that match for me that show came down to me for Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, and of course, Sheamus versus Walter, which to me mattered maybe a bit more because I really respect both those men. For me, though, and again, that's the beauty of being a fan of your own design. Also, star ratings are relevant. I give it to AEW and NJPW Forbidden Door. It was a one-of-a-kind, first-time spectacle where you really wonder a bunch of what-ifs that could come into play, and we got just that. Not only a new title was crowned, and I speak definitely for Jeff Meacham when one of my sleeper matches of the year was Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay. I never had so much fun calling and watching something in my life. I love the atmosphere. I love the introduction of Claudio Castagnoli versus Zack Sabre Jr. and Tanahashi, Jon Moxley, two different worlds colliding. for the AEW World Championship. Everything about that show just felt special. And it makes me think that each year it can be different and include more. I hope to see the likes of Stardom and more Joshi Pro involved next time. Toni Storm and the Rosa tore it up that night. So for me, AEW Full Gear was actually my favorite of the year. But out of this poll, I'm giving it to AEW NJPW Forbidden Door because that was a one-of-a-kind special show for me. That's my favorite of the year.
Thank you for that, Noah. And it was certainly a great wrestling card. Now, has anybody else in this panel seen every pay-per-view? Okay, Big G, we're going to go to you next, and then Walter. So Big G, you first.
Yes. So, yeah, I've watched every single pay-per-view on this card, or not on the card, but that have been
on the nominees.
The nominees. Thank you, Walter.
The ballot. It's called the ballot. Make it simple.
I enjoyed all the AEW shows, as I always do. I even enjoyed the AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door, even though I didn't know who half the people were on the show on the New Japan side.
I love that.
But it was worth my money to watch that show. I enjoyed Clash at the Castle, and I'm not choosing just one night. I'm choosing both nights of WrestleMania 38. There on both nights there was something. There was wrestling. You had entertainment. You had a little bit of everything on there, and especially night 2, I believe, when Stone Cold came back into the ring. That right there was awesome for me. I mean, you had Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. You had some great matches on there. I enjoyed both nights, so I'm going with WrestleMania 38 as pay-per-view of the year.
All right. Thank you for that, Big G. So now we'll throw it over to Walter with his thoughts.
Okay. I disagree a little with Noah's the whole missing everything in one night. I think WrestleMania just went way too damn long at a point. I for one am glad that they split it into 2 nights now.
Yeah. Remember 35 went to like 1 o'clock.
Yeah, there was like
a great way to solve that. Don't book so many matches that don't need to be on the card.
That's true, but doing it this way gets everybody in terms of their day a payday too. You get more people on it, and it's just I enjoy it better. Split two nights, but other than that, WrestleMania was okay. The highlights were Cody Rhodes' return, and for me that was like the highlight, and Stone Cold, because and the on the bad side, how horrible Vince McMahon's stunner was. The way he took it was just horrific. But I think I'm going with Clash of the Champion because of the.
You don't even know the pay-per-view name.
I know, Clash at the Castle. Sorry, Clash at the Castle. But it had an entire cultural impact, and it got to the point it became so popular where Triple H might go every year now. It's an international. I don't know if it's going to be UK necessarily every year, but it was so successful that he's got to go every year now. So that it had an entire cultural impact, and every match was awesome. I mean, yeah. Like you said, the women's title match was a little, but other than that, that's really the only negative. Everything else was it. It was like Sheamus says, banger after what people say. So Clash at the Castle for me.
Good choice there. I would consider Clash at the Castle, except for the fact that I was not a big fan of how it ended and that whole post-match deal with Drew McIntyre and Tyson Fury at the end.
Yeah, that took it down a little. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I feel like unless WrestleMania shits the bed, I have to go with WrestleMania pretty much every year because it is the Super Bowl of wrestling. It's the biggest show of the year. And this year, 2 nights, I think you had way more positive moments than negative moments. Lots of memorable matches. Cody Rhodes coming back. You had Vince McMahon getting involved, which for better or worse was memorable. Steve Austin coming out of retirement versus Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn's match was very entertaining. Logan Paul put on a solid performance. I just thought it was a really fun weekend of wrestling with WrestleMania Night 1 and 2. So that's my pick, but all of the AEW offerings were really great as well. Forbidden Door was a great show. Double or Nothing is up there. That had Anarchy in the Arena, and Revolution had the dog collar match. So those are top contenders as well. Now we'll throw it over to the Renegade JJ Williams. Pay-per-view of the year, in your opinion, from what you've seen.
Well, the only pay-per-view that I have zero knowledge about is Revolution. I was unable to see Forbidden Door and All Out, but listening to the coverage that Jeff and Noah usually give on Jeff's channel, I was able to at least keep up with the action. and could kind of envision the matches as they happened. So for me, it's got to come down to either between WrestleMania 38, like you said, Aaron, it's the Super Bowl of professional wrestling, or Forbidden Door. You know, you figure the Pro Bowl is basically everybody that doesn't make the Super Bowl. It's all the All-Stars that couldn't make it to the Super Bowl. And that's kind of what Forbidden Door felt like. It's all the big name talent from the other companies that just couldn't make it to the big dance, going out there and showing the world why they freaking belong. And they stole the show. Everybody on Forbidden Door had amazing matches. Like Noah said, the Osprey Orange Cassidy match, who would have thought that would be a thing of greatness? But I've actually had to go back and search for the match on streaming sites so I could actually take it in, because it was just a thing of beauty. So it comes down to those two for me.
All right. Well, now we'll throw it over to Virtue. But before we do that, we have a few super chats.
Hey.
Good old JM Jeff Meacham sent in $2. Says, hello from backstage at Disneyland. Miss you guys. Miss you too, Jeff.
Hello, Jeff.
Hope you're doing well. And tell Mickey Mouse I said hi. Caleb Jacobs sent in a $2 super chat. Says, Triple H officially retired at WrestleMania 38. Yes, another WrestleMania moment was Triple H laying the boots in the ring and opening up the show. Definitely a big moment there. Lots of moments at WrestleMania. Felt like WrestleMania. Like it's supposed to have those spectacle moments and everything. JJ?
Something else to think about, and we definitely didn't know about or think about it at the time, but going back and re-looking at things, WrestleMania 38 very well could be the final appearance of Vince McMahon at WrestleMania, at least until he ever gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. You know, with the whole scandal that transpired this summer and everything, and the removal of position, which I'm sure we'll get to, because how can that not be headline of the year?
Facts.
But
I didn't even need to think about that.
That very well could be his final WrestleMania moment, that horrid stunner that he took. But
and his Hall of Fame is probably more than likely is going to be postpartum, because I don't think he wants to be in the Hall of Fame while he's still breathing.
Yeah,
Probably
maybe
not.
right on that one. All right, so Virtue, I know you've made it very clear you like paying the Peacock money to watch the WWE shows. You're not a big fan of spending $50. So from what you've seen, what's your favorite show of the year? I'm guessing it's not an AEW show.
No. Like, that's a thing. $50. And I know there's other ways to watch AEW or whatever, and I'm not talking about illegal streaming. But I'm just going to stick to what I've watched, and the runner-up is SummerSlam because it had my match of the year there. And, of course, WrestleMania 38. I've heard that be a lot of people's choices. Why? Because it had something for everybody. And Stone Cold came back and took bumps. How can you not choose WrestleMania? And usually WrestleMania is a hard one for me to pick because the expectations are so high. And then there's usually so many like down moments. And it's like, really, wow, all that hype, but it didn't feel really good. This WrestleMania to me did. And I can even say going back to last year, like these 2-night WrestleManias, they're starting to really hit the nail on the head. And that's pay-per-view of the year for me.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, some years WrestleMania was very lackluster, and I felt like I could go with a different pay-per-view. But if WrestleMania delivers for the most part, I feel like it's got to be WrestleMania. But anyways, we'll move on now, and we'll go over the rest of the categories very quickly. Just have everybody list off their picks for each category. I will start. I will go through these, and I will give my pick as I read them off. We have headline of the year, which there's no shortage. And this is crazy because Steve Austin came out of retirement, and I'm not even sure if that's a top 5. It did make the poll. I'm not going to read off all the ones that made it. I'm just going to give my headline of the year. It has to be Vince McMahon retiring because that was something we never thought was going to happen. We never thought he would willingly retire. And what is going?
I'm watching the cat in the background.
She knocks
cat
the Kleenex
invasion.
Yeah, she was
cat tail cameo. So yeah, Vince McMahon retiring. Just the magnitude of that. changing the industry, changing the face of WWE as we knew it. Triple H taking over, all these people being brought back that were fired. Vince McMahon retiring has to be headline of the year, but all of them, all the main ones, very significant. Finisher of the year. This is very subjective, but I have to go with the Roman Reigns spear. At the end of the day, the guy that wins the world title matches in the biggest promotion, has a dominant run. You look at it from kayfabe terms, I think it has to be the spear. Announcer of the year, Pat McAfee. Awesome job he's done on SmackDown. Hope he comes back in January once football season ends. Just fantastic. Brought out the best in Michael Cole. Breakout star of the year. It's a tough one. I think I have to go with Austin Theory because of the year he's had, for better or worse. He's had some down moments, but he's also had some big moments too. So I think I'm going with him. Logan Paul could be up there as well as far as being a breakout star. Catchphrase of the year, I think I have to go with Acknowledge Me from Roman Reigns. Faction of the year, Bloodline. Big G, I'm not sure if it was you. One of you guys mentioned that, maybe it was Walter, that Bloodline's just going to take all the awards this year.
It was me.
Yeah, I think that very well could be how this plays out. And we got comeback of the year, which is another tough one. So many big comebacks. I think I have to go with Bray Wyatt because of all the hype surrounding the White Rabbit and the pop he got when he came out there. You could say Cody Rhodes coming back to WWE, although he was in AEW like literally a month or two beforehand. So was it really, like, when I think of a comeback, I think of somebody that was gone for quite a bit of time, not in the public eye. So
the injury plays a big role in that too. Absolutely.
So I think because of that, if you look at it from that perspective, I have to go with Bray Wyatt. And the This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat, says, we thought 2020 was crazy in wrestling. Nope, 2022. You were right about that one.
It's a different level of crazy this year. Let's just put it out there.
2020, the whole world was crazy. 2022, just wrestling.
Right, exactly. 2022 had so many interesting moments, that's for damn sure. And Caleb Jacobs sent in a $2 super chat, says, McAfee even brought out the best in Baron Corbin. Bum-ass Corbin. Yes, I agree. Pat McAfee's been awesome. And Psycho Jet Black is here. He's been quiet tonight. He said, with $2, Veer certainly had a huge comeback. Oh, God.
He came back?
Yeah, he came back to NXT. He went back.
Not my NXT!
It's more of a went back than come back. He went back to NXT.
Go back to NXT. No one gives a damn.
He was coming for 6 months. He came and then he went again. All right, let's see what else we have here. There's a few more categories I got to comment on. So we have theme song of the year. I love Seth Rollins' theme song with everybody humming along to it, but I have to go with my Spotify #1 song of the year, which was Kingdom, Cody Rhodes' theme song. I was bumping that throughout the first quarter of the year, so I guess that has to be my theme song of the year. Babyface of the year. Man, this is a tough one. I think I have to go with Jon Moxley. I'm giving an AEW guy the award because he came back from rehab and he's been the backbone of AEW. Like,
damn right.
Going back to the beginning of the company, he was there since the beginning. He was world champion during the pandemic, comes back in 2022. And with all the CM Punk drama, Jon Moxley was there at the forefront, holding up the company and being that leader. So I got to go with Moxley. And heel of the year, I mean, even though he gets cheered a lot, you know what? I'm going with MJF. MJF for heel of the year. Few guys have been able to do it better than him as far as just being a complete prick. And feud of the year, I think I have to go with Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Their trilogy, some of the best matches of the year. WrestleMania was great. Cody Rhodes' return, and then the Hell in a Cell match. I think that's my pick, but there's a lot of good ones too. Most underrated of the year. Sorry, Psycho Jet Black, not picking Ricochet, although you could argue he's very underrated. They are doing more with him, but Chad Gable has to be up there. He might be my pick. You know, he's doing the whole shoosh thing, and him and Otis have been picking up some momentum as of late. So I'll go ahead and say Chad Gable. But since Triple H took over, I feel like he's gotten more of a significant role on TV. And then Talker of the Year, I think it has to be MJF for sure. And Harold Warren sent in a very generous $20 super chat. I very much appreciate it. Says MJF's pipe bomb was the promo of the year. Absolutely. And that's why he's my talker of the year, because of that. And just all the moments he's had. Heel of the year, MJF. He's done so many great things. And Mr. Anderson, this is another great choice. Bray Wyatt's theme song. Very catchy, but he just came back. It's not like we heard it for the entire year. If we did hear it the entire year, I might go with that. All right. So who wants to go first on this one? All right. Well, Virtue had his hand up, I think.
I'm not going to do all of them either. These are just like the highlighted ones, and I'm not going to go into it like a big explanation like Aaron. Headline of the year, McMahon retires. Breakout star of the year. I don't think it has to be young, right?
No.
Sami Zayn. Because look what happened with Johnny Knoxville. Look where he's at now. Sami's never been as big as he's been. Sami Zayn. Announcer of the year. Obviously, Pat McAfee. Theme song of the year. Roman Reigns' theme, of course. Catchphrase of the year. Acknowledge me. Faction of the year. The Bloodline. Comeback of the year. Bray Wyatt. Face of the year. Babyface of the year. Pat McAfee. People love him. The best show, weekly show of the year, SmackDown. Heel of the year, MJF. Promo talker of the year. This one was tough, but I did pick MJF over CM Punk, but it was close. That most recent promo at the Scrum put MJF over the top. And a feud of the year, Reigns and Lesnar, because they finally got it right all that time. That last match, I loved it. Those are the only ones I'm going to highlight.
All right. Well, solid picks there, Virtue. I agree with a lot of them. And you mentioned Pat McAfee. That's another WrestleMania moment. Him at WrestleMania coming out to Seven Nation Army. Great reaction. And just like they did Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul, I hope we get Roman Reigns versus Pat McAfee at a premium live event. Maybe that'll be the next Saudi Arabia match.
I think we're all going to have the same headline of the year. I got a good feeling that we're all going to have it.
Skip that.
Yeah. G, go ahead and read off your picks.
Yeah, so headline of the year, I mean, everybody picked Vince, but I'm going with Stone Cold coming out of retirement.
All right.
Announcer of the year, Pat McAfee. I mean, the guy is so freaking entertaining. Every time Nakamura came out, he would play the air guitar. That was so freaking awesome. And I got to see that a couple times in person. Catchphrase of the year, acknowledge me, just like you guys acknowledged me at my wedding. Theme song of the year, Visionary, Seth Rollins, Head of the Table, Roman Reigns. But I don't have Spotify. I have Amazon Music, and my most played theme song was from AEW, was Adam Cole, baby. Boom. What else? Baby face of the year. Technically he's not a baby face, but I'm gonna go with Sami Zayn right now. Talker of the year, MJF. Heel of the year, MJF. Comeback, Bray Wyatt, obviously. So, yep. Yeah.
It's not Jeff Jarrett for you? The comeback of the year is not Jeff Jarrett?
Your comeback of the year has to be Jeff Jarrett.
Exactly.
I named everything pretty much out. Breakout star of the year, I'm gonna go with Austin Theory. So.
All right, good choices there. All right, Simple Man Noah Foster, we'll go to you next.
Headline, obviously, is Vince retires. Who would have fought a cold day in hell before Earth ended? Did that man be out of the damn chair? Announcer of the year, Pat McAfee reminded me what it means to not only talk wrestling, but actually be engaged by it and not be generic, robotic number one on a freaking phone. Pat McAfee for sure. Catchphrase of the year. This one's tricky. Let me talk to you. I understand, acknowledge me, and the simplicity. But honestly, no matter whether he was being sympathetic, asshole, trying to get you on his side. Everybody's still connected to the fact that I'm better than you, and you know it. I'm giving that to MJF. Faction of the year is definitely the Bloodline. Comeback of the year, so damn happy he's back. No idea where this is going. Gotta give it to Bray Wyatt. Again, dude was highly, highly poorly used towards these previous end sprint WWE. I truly expect bigger and brighter things this go around. Theme song of the year. Oh, this one's tricky. Well, considering that I actually recognize AEW music and it actually connects to the personalities that you actually see coming out to the ring versus generic by Def Rebel, I got to go with an AEW theme. And for me, it's got to be Judas by Jericho. Jericho's been one of the hardest workers this year, too. He's up there for me for heel of the year, but heel of the year is MJF. Babyface of the year, you hit the nail on the head with Jon Moxley. He is AEW, and he literally brought that company back from its lowest point to remind us why we invested in this thing in the first place since 2019. Feud of the year, I'll go with JJ here with the trilogy of movies, even though I watch movies. Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, every match delivered, every match to pass the previous one. Got to go with that. Underrated, most underrated of the year. I can't believe I'm freaking saying this. I'll go with Austin Theory because he actually is trying to do something now that doesn't make me think he is literally a golden child in this company. A talk of the year is definitely MJF, and show of the year for me, it felt different every week. It's AEW Dynamite.
Oh yeah, I forgot show of the year.
Yeah, I was gonna go with SmackDown. I wrote SmackDown on my choice.
I mean, I'm torn between Dynamite and SmackDown. I think I'll go with SmackDown just because of the bloodline. I think they put it over the top.
It's pretty neck and neck for those two.
It is in both their own cases. Again, 2022 has been a phenomenal year for the industry. There's no denying that.
Absolutely. Okay. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, I acknowledge Ricochet is more over than Mustafa Ali. Yeah. Think he's right at this point.
Mm-hmm.
We got another cat cameo over there. I see the cat tail. Now, headline of the year, Naomi and Sasha Banks quitting WWE. That's a pretty big one. Thank you for the super chat, Harold Warren. Again, if Vince McMahon did not retire, I think that would be a close contender. Although the All Out brawl has to be up there too for all the headlines and fallout from that, all the backstage drama. But yeah, the drama definitely with Naomi and Sasha Banks quitting. We'll go over to Walter now and get his thoughts on these remaining categories. Go ahead.
All right, so headline of the year, Vince McMahon. I think we all did. Finisher of the year. Now, if it wasn't for WrestleMania, I would have went with End of Days because Corbin always keeps that strong. Nobody kicked out. Then WrestleMania turned around and screwed all that up. So I'm going to go with the 1D from the Usos. Announcer of the year, Pat McAfee. Breakout star of the year, going to have to go with Logan Paul. Catchphrase of the year, I'm gonna say "Scissor Me, Daddy" because that's over. That's over like Rover. Like everybody's doing that. Everybody, that's over.
Scissor Me, Daddy, yes.
It got weird.
Faction of the year, the Bloodline, of course. Comeback of the year is Bray Wyatt. I would have said Cody if it wasn't for his injury. So it's not much of a comeback when you're out half the year. So that's the only reason I went.
I think he'll get 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Theme song of the year, I went totally different, and it's only because of Pat McAfee I picked Shinsuke Nakamura's theme because he got that over. Because think about every time Shinsuke came out, how Pat McAfee reacted to that. That got that song over. Everybody wanted to play the air guitar. Everybody went crazy whenever he came out. Like to the point when Pat McAfee was gone, Nakamura was no longer on TV, and no one even noticed that.
Yeah, true.
Babyface of the year is Seth Rollins is technically a babyface now, so I went with him. Heel of the year, I went with CM Punk because everybody hates him right now from beyond wrestling. So how better of a heel can you be that you got everybody to turn their back on him? Everybody's marks, and as soon as CM Punk returns, everybody's gonna kiss his ass. But right now, everybody wants to hate on him.
I mean,
so yeah.
Pickle.
Feud of the year, I went with everybody with the Seth Rollins, Cody, Rhodes. Most underrated of the year, I go with The Miz every year for this.
I was gonna say that, Walter. I didn't pick that category
because nobody nobody ever talks about Miz is so underappreciated for everything he does, and then he tries to take all the bullshit that they give him and tries to turn sugar into shit. Or shit into
Dude,
sugar. I should say.
Bad Bunny, Logan Paul. Look what he does for that company.
Yeah, he does everything, and like I wish they gave him one proper title run. I wish they gave him one proper title run. And Talker of the Year, it's a toss up between MJF and CM Punk. The fact that he says something and gets fired from a company makes you kind of Talker of the Year for me. So I went with Punk with that. Although MJF is awesome and everything he says,
Punk
people
got fired?
eat out of it.
Not officially.
Not fired, but suspended, and
he's still getting paid.
A fallout happened because of that. You have to be a great talker
Walker.
to make all that happen.
He's also injured.
I know he's injured, but even if he wasn't, I don't think he'd be on TV right now.
Fair point. I was going to say underrated, by the way, Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, that's another good one. Although I'm kind of over. I was with him, but they kind of screwed him over lately. I don't know. I'm kind of over him. And show of the year, I'm gonna. It's between Dynamite and SmackDown, just because of the Bloodline, though. If it wasn't for the Bloodline, Dynamite.
Aaron, is there an overrated category?
I got rid of it this year.
Okay.
Why? Who would you have said for overrated?
Orange Cassidy. Oh, no doubt. and hey, I'm giving an AEW person an award.
There you go.
But it doesn't count because Aaron got rid of it.
Now, Virtue, Psycho Jet Black sent in $2 and says, would you let Roman Reigns scissor you?
No.
Really?
I mean, what, this little handshake? I mean,
yeah.
We really know what scissoring means. So if it's a little handshake, yeah, that's whatever. I'd rather if we're doing handshakes, so I'd rather do the Sami Zayn, Jimmy Uso thing. I'd rather learn to do that instead. But
that'll take a while. That'll take a little longer.
Gotcha. Yeah.
All right. Mr. Block Ice 22 sent in $2. Says catchphrase, my name is Block Ice and you know it. That's a good catchphrase.
Personal catchphrase endorsed for $2 by that super chatter.
Thank you for that.
Virtue just mentioned the Usos and Sammy, and it made me think I want to see Sammy do like the old Usos entrance where they used to do the dance as a welcome to the bloodline. Yeah, could you imagine him trying to do that? How silly he would make that look? That'd be hysterical.
It would be very silly,
especially if he had the face paint on as well.
Yeah.
Big G,
where's your
cat?
It, right? That's
my
everything,
cat's
right?
Sleeping right now.
I think you basically covered everything there.
Yeah, I covered everything.
Walter.
I think it's JJ's turn now.
Yeah, we're gonna get to JJ here in just a second. Mr. Anderson chimed in with $2, and he says catchphrase of the year is "Scissor Me, Daddy" and AEW.
I'm just gonna put it out there though. I do miss Mr. Anderson doing the mic thing with his entrance. That was always one of my favorite things.
I know. I'm surprised nobody mentioned Uzi.
Yeah, I mean it's up there. A lot of the Usos, we the ones, they had a lot of good catchphrases this year. Harold Warren sent in a $10 super chat. Says theme song of the year is "Wild Thing" by Jon Moxley. I mean, it's a good
audience welcome.
That doesn't fit him for me. I need him to get a new one. I just it doesn't go for me. I don't know what it is. It doesn't connect with me. I don't know.
He is a wild thing.
I know, but it just doesn't connect when you hear it and he comes out. Yeah, I'm just saying for me personally, it just doesn't connect.
I liked his original theme. JJ?
That's good.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Noah. Isn't Moxley from Cleveland or Cincinnati?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati.
Wild Thing is Rick Vaughn's theme in Major League for the Cleveland Indians.
He's Ohio boy. Ohio represent.
All right, JJ, let's go ahead and get your picks.
Ding dong. All right, so headline of the year, we're all pretty much unanimous on that. It's got to be Vince. Like you guys said, the All Out Fallout was definitely probably number 2. Finisher of the year, this one may be a little bit controversial, but I've always been a fan of the Canadian Destroyer anyways, so I'm going to go with Adam Cole's Panama Sunrise.
Nice.
Announcer of the year, Pat McAfee, obviously. Breakout Star of the year, A-Town Down, baby. I've been one of the few people that's been supporting Theory the entire year. I've seen it in him all along, and I'm thankful that he's finally starting to get the footing back underneath him again.
You're doing the old Virtue versus Roman Reigns take from 6 years ago. I see what you're doing right there.
I didn't even watch you 6 years ago, Virtue. No disrespect. So, catchphrase of the year. The indie fan in me wants to bring up the fact that my boy LA Knight, Sean Ricker, went back to his. That's not an insult. That's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
But you gotta go with I'm MJF and I'm better than you and you know it. Faction, bloodline. Yeah. Although I do think that the Jericho Appreciation Society and Blackpool Combat Club are definitely in contention here for that.
Fair.
Comeback of the year. Bray isn't obvious, but I'm gonna go with the trio of women at SummerSlam. That was definitely a shocking moment, seeing Bayley come out and then Dakota and Io all together. And while they haven't lived up to that initial moment yet, really, it was definitely like the rumbling, like you felt something big was about to go down. And then you look at everybody that came behind them with Triple H taking over, and it definitely was.
All right.
Song of the year. That's a tough one. I'm gonna come back to that one. Babyface of the year. This one's a bit of a hot take here, but I'm gonna go with Roxy over in Not Noah's NXT.
All right.
Wow.
I can respect
she's
that.
been on fire ever since she debuted, and then you figure the betrayal of my girl, Cora Jade, and everything that's been following since then. Heel of the year, MJF. Plain and simple. Feud of the year, I'm going to go with the JAS versus the Blackpool Combat Club here. I like everything they've been doing ever since I started tuning in and everything.
Anarchy, Blood and Guts, and still going now into the final Breakout PPV of the year.
Yeah, exactly. You figure both Garcia and Jericho are going to be defending their titles against people from the Combat Club. So, underrated of the year, I agree with the Miz. Miz doesn't get the credit he deserves, and I also would throw Theory in there because so many people have been talking about him all year. And again, like I said earlier, I've seen it from day one. Talker of the year, MJF.
So what's your song?
Going back to theme song, I'm torn between Kingdom and Judas, and I'll just leave it at that.
I'm surprised, JJ, you didn't say Toxic Attraction for your faction of the year.
As good as I feel like they've done in NXT, I don't feel like they're at that level where the Bloodline, Combat Club, and JAS are. I'd maybe put them in either 4 or 5, but not top 3.
And that's one faction that's actually been booked, right? Toxic Attraction.
Right?
Female faction, put that in perspective in the WWE. What?
Yeah, so Damage Control, take some notes.
Yeah.
Seriously, like, they're both heel teams, but I've been, like, jonesing to see a clash between the two teams there, the two factions.
Yeah.
Agree.
All right, thank you for that, JJ Williams. And good choice with the Miz. This guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. Says Miz is awesome. I see run back in 2017 was great.
Can't argue that. He actually made the classic white strap, the actual workhorse title Intercontinental Championship, must see, must go after, must showcase. Something that hasn't been done in a long time. Although Classic Casual does give me hope for a Walter holding the title.
And imagine if Daniel Bryan was cleared back then, the feud they would have had.
Oh, man.
Oh, we did this one already. Harold Warren said $5 news of the year, the death of Scott Hall. I mean, that was sad and unfortunate, but yeah, a lot of news in 2022. A lot of things happened. So yeah, let's not forget Scott Hall. Rest in peace to the bad guy. And yeah, 2022, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. You guys can vote over at nodq.com. And now we'll go ahead and do our plugs. Thank you guys for being on the panel tonight. Much appreciated. We will go ahead and start with the Renegade, JJ Williams. What do you have for us to plug and promote?
I've got a crap ton of stuff to plug and promote. I just kicked off today on my channel my Christmas reviews. You can kind of get a taste there in the image of all the stuff coming up, and that's just between today and next Saturday.
Good Lord
All
Almighty.
those movies and specials are going to be talked about and featured on the channel. You got wrestlers and Christmas movies. You got the Rankin Bass classics. I'm taking a look at the Disney Plus original series, The Santa Clauses, every Thursday. A couple of new releases from Netflix, and then not pictured on this graphic, but I do want to make sure I plug December 23rd, the eve of Christmas Eve special open mic night. Myself, Noah Foster, James Hebert, hopefully Jeff Meacham will be on. We are actually not going to be discussing wrestling at all that night. We are going to be doing a Christmas special. For a minimum $5 super chat, we will spin the wheel of carols. And yes, this man right up above me will join the rest of us in singing Christmas songs on the air. So
You
if you
gotta
want
go
to
see
see a
Violent
different
Light, right?
side of Noah Foster, save up your super chat money and tune in to all the channels across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media Friday, December 23rd.
Donate to the Salvation Army.
Are you gonna see Violent Lights? Was that what it's
I
called?
actually already have seen it. My girlfriend and I
Yeah.
got to see a sneak preview of it a few months back.
Oh, okay.
Superman don't dance, Superman don't sing. Superman only commentates and talk wrestling. This is not going to be a fun night for me.
And while you do your plug, JJ, I guess everybody could answer this. Psycho Jet Black says, "What are your predictions for December of 2022?" I mean, not much, right?
A great way to go into 2023 as my year of wrestling kicks off for Wrestle Kingdom. Let's freaking go.
My predictions for December 2022 is that on December 10th, Noah's going to lose his voice between calling Ring of Honor, NXT, and doing open mic night all in one day.
That's crazy, man. I mean, that's the most noteworthy day is December 10th. Other than that, this might actually be the slowest month of the year, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
As
I
we-
sort
We
of
all
miss,
need a day off from everything, including wrestling. Damn it.
I kind of miss Armageddon though.
Yeah. I mean, I wish they had
Yeah,
the
that's
December
true.
pay-per-view. I mean, I think it's a long time between Survivor Series and the Rumble, but it is what it is. All right.
Well,
Bring
Big
back,
G.
bring back December to Dismember.
No.
Hell to the no. Are you trying to cause me to rant? That friggin' Black Apprentice on the friggin' industry where you had the daggum Extreme Elimination Chamber. You want to bring up the worst damn thing in recent memory from December? I'd rather see TLC.
Love you,
Big
Noah.
G, what do you got for us to plug?
So yes, this coming Saturday, if you are in New Jersey, Contest of Champions, Parker Kane Promotions is bringing in 3 awesome talents: Christina Marie, JTG, and she used to be on NXT UK, Notorious Mimi. And that is it for me.
All right. Thank you, Big G. Now we'll throw it over to Walter.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on, and thanks for Jeff for giving up your spot. Unfortunately, it was me, but it was him originally, but he had to give up his. For me, you can follow me on Instagram at. I thought you were gonna put it up. That's what I was like. Cal Fire Farms. I'm also at on Twitter at Walter Alex Cruz, and that's pretty much it for me.
All right, there you go, Cal Fire. And have you hooked up Big Vito yet?
Not yet.
You better get cracking on that. Big Vito's
I
a
know.
busy man. All right, Noah Foster, we'll throw it over to you now with your plugs.
I always keep it simple, but it's always a pleasure being here. I also want to say thank you to everybody that participated in these year's leagues for All Elite Wrestling and Impact Wrestling. I will definitely be doing them again next year in 2023 as the Ring of Honor Inaugural League and the WWE League will conclude come December 10th. But if you want to know more about me, know this, for I am just a simple man and a lifelong fan of, what's the 2 words I'm looking for here?
Sports entertainment.
Damn it.
F that! It's professional wrestling, damn it! But I digress.
Buy the
Sports
shirt.
Entertainment's okay to agree. Find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and in Foster1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out, of course, to my entire AEW family on the Twitter. I, of course, will continue with my AEW Rampage and Dynamite recap and reviews. One last live Simply Predicting panel for the year 2022 will be next week. Double feature, of course. Ring of Honor Final Bout and NXT Deadline. And we'll see who concludes and wins the leagues there. I'm pretty sure Song already killed us in WWE.
We
Dadgummit.
did.
Yeah, go figure. As JJ alluded to, I'll continue bringing my own voice and thoughts, maybe rants and stuff I don't know galore, to Open Mic Night weekly on a Saturday nights. I also sometimes participate with Chris Cass on Twitch in Combat Wrestling Trivia, and I help co-host Cindy G's watch-alongs on her Twitch community too. So you'll find me somewhere in and about talking about all sorts of things wrestling too. But as always, I like to conclude, there are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters. They're just fans with opinions for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too. And it's the holidays, so definitely treasure your families and just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's as simple as that.
Thank you for that, Noah. And now Virtue, who got to kick back and relax tonight. We took off the No DQ review. Go ahead and give us your plugs.
Be sure to go to nodq.com/merch, and all the Virtue Collection t-shirts are on there, as well as all the great No DQ shirts of the different personalities, the No DQ brand itself. Check them out. And Aaron, there's some more sales coming up, right, for the holidays, I would imagine? At least one more?
We'll see.
Is that something you set or the website sets?
I said it.
Oh, okay. Well, you got Christmas still coming up, so give them at least 5%. Give them at least 5 or 10% off. But that's it. Follow me on Twitter right here at NoDQ_Virtue, where I sometimes misbehave, and then Aaron wants nothing to do with me because I say things that'll piss people off.
All right. And we look forward to hearing you piss people off next week on the No DQ review when we bring it back for a new episode. Of course, guys, stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest and vote. Vote in the year-end awards, NoDQ.com/features. You guys can vote there. We got more polls coming up throughout the month. All these categories we discussed, there will be polls up. And tell your friends. Get as many people to vote as possible so we can get the biggest sample of wrestling fans possible for it. NoDQ.com/features. And have a great night, everyone. Stay safe. Take care. Happy holidays. And we will see you all next time.
Have a good night, folks. Deonna Purrazzo's highly underrated, too.
Feel merchy.